Hey, this is Carlton with the Hey You Trust Me Foundation. This is for Milo Gibson and Mel Gibson. I've been working on this screenplay for 17 years. Here's the screenplay. So, long story short, man. Here's the story. What we're doing is we're going to tell the true story about the Apocalypse Now Squadron and how the war affected the family's life. The inciting incident for the movie, in the very beginning, you're going to see this fax comes across the fax machine. It's a letter sent to Ethan Wayne's office. That's John Wayne's son. And then, of course, you're going to see a few scenes with my mom and my dad with some other pilots going through flight school. And then my dad leaves to go to Vietnam, and he comes right back, so you don't get to see what happened. The only thing that changed, he went from wearing a regular officer's uniform with a regular officer's hat to wearing a black Stetson cowboy hat. And he's got some medals on his uniform. And he comes back, he buys the Easter bunny for me. And then 1 year later, I'm sitting in my grandfather's lap holding the Easter bunny. And the little boy takes a couple sniffles, and he says, "Granddaddy, when's my daddy coming back? Where'd my daddy go? When's my daddy coming home?" And from that point, I wouldn't meet him for 20 years. And then, of course, I love my stepfather. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. But from age 7 till 9th grade in high school, I used a belt as discipline. In 9th grade, I was taken away and put in foster care. It's crazy. It was physical child abuse, man. But that was 1985. A lot of time has passed since then. He's a great guy. He does some incredible things for veterans, plays at funerals, whatever. Or not whatever. That's the great, awesome thing. So here's the story is about forgiveness. And as I found out in life, I joined the Navy. Ended up getting put on a helicopter carrier that carried the same helicopters my father flew in Vietnam. And as I found out in life what my dad went through in Vietnam, my biological father, I need to say, Lance, everyone else gets to find out. And we're going to tell the true story about the Apocalypse Now Squadron. And then the craziest part, the reason John Wayne's involved with this, it's a lot of divine intervention. I found out I was born on the same day of the Academy Awards. And I would not find this out until after being in a film with Matt Damon, The Legend of Bagger Vance. And that's me with Matt Damon. Of course, that's me when I was 29 and Matt Damon when he was 29. And this is on the set of Legend of Bagger Vance. With Robert Redford was the director and that kind of thing. So everybody knows the way Matt Damon got his big break. He and Ben wrote a screenplay, Good Will Hunting. It was based on their lives. Ben's father was a janitor at Harvard, and they wrote stories about growing up and turned it into a movie. Good Will Hunting, everybody's seen that. So I've always been taught, if you want to be successful, find somebody that's where you want to be, figure out what they did and do with it. So I've been working on this screenplay for 17 years. I even went to Vietnam in 2007, 10 years ago. National Vietnam Press followed me around. It was an incredible experience. Went to the same location where my dad's best friend got shot down and killed on his last mission, flying a scout helicopter. And so came back to the United States. When I came home a year later, I wanted the movie to come out on John Wayne's birthday, May 26, 2007. And what happened that day was incredible. First time since the war. Local news in Charleston did a 2-part special about me and my father, and you can watch that on the Hey You Trust Me Foundation website. But at the exact same time, on the West Coast at 3 p.m., exact same time as it aired here, the city of Irvine, California, did a dedication to my friend Steve, or my dad's best friend Steve Larrabee. So it was like divine intervention. It was like God telling me, "Don't give up, Carlton." And so what even gets crazier, 2008, this lady from Vietnam wanted to come meet me because she saw the documentary that won the Gold Award, It was called The Young Man from America that National Vietnam Press did about, made a documentary, and it got national reviews in Vietnam. 90 million people saw it. It won the Vietnamese Gold Award at the Film Awards, which is equivalent to winning an Oscar and an Emmy here. And this lady was so impressed she wanted to meet me. So she came here. We went on a cross-country tour. We went out to California to see Steve Larrabee's grave. And lo and behold, John Wayne is buried next to my dad's best friend, literally 40 feet away. And John Wayne is buried next to a cavalryman that lost his life fighting for our country. And I'll show you a picture of Steve Larrabee that lost his life. And he looks like Brad Pitt, by the way. Tell me if that doesn't look like Brad Pitt, man. That's Steve Larrabee. And then, so we're going to tell the true story about the Apocalypse Now Squadron. And there's my father and how the war affected the family's life. And after, on this cross-country tour, I went up to meet Steve Larrabee's father. And by the way, I have tons and tons of video that is all here documenting the whole thing. So the whole goal of this movie is for it to be the first not-for-profit movie out of Hollywood. I studied under Robert McKee many times, and I've mastered my craft of screenwriting, and this is going to be one of the greatest screenplays of all time. And so what is crazy, divine intervention, I was on my way back from meeting Steve Larrabee's father, and drove through this place called Little America, Wyoming, and lo and behold, they had keychains, and I grabbed one with my birthday, and it said famous people that have birthdays, April 7th. Francis Ford Coppola, the director of Apocalypse Now, has the same birthday as me. So here's the goal. I know I can raise every penny to get the funds to make this. This is a movie about forgiveness. It is one of these movies that it's going to motivate so many people. It's ridiculous, and it's going to change so many people's lives. Because, like I said, I've been working on this thing for 17 years. I want it to be the first not-for-profit movie out of Hollywood. I want it to be the best of the best with all the top-line actors in it. But guess what? It's not-for-profit. So Mel Gibson, the main character, the two main characters in the movie, is the grandfather and a little boy, and that's the arc of the film. And so, Mel, the part, Robert McKee said, always write the movie for an actor. And I've written this, my grandfather's part for you. I've been trying to figure out who was to play my father, which I figured it out, man. 10 years ago, or 17 years ago when I started this, your son was like 10 years old. But, so Mel, this is for you and your son. It's an incredible story. God's done a lot of divine intervention in my life, and we're going to start these clubs called the Lovejoy House, and we're going to give lots of abused and disadvantaged kids lots of love and lots of joy, change their lives because they cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's the Hey You Trust Me Foundation. This has been close to my heart for years, and the name of the movie is going to be named after the short story my dad wrote. And here's the name of the movie. It's going to be called The Last Time I Saw America. So, that's it.